I will open the floor now for Chris, just kidding. No, no, Norm Kyrus to join us in the front and meet the candidates.
Oh, yeah, stand. It's funny. I had mentioned to a client once, I'm going to change my name to Chris because I get called that so often. But anyway, thank you all for coming today and really appreciate it. And thank you for stepping up and serving as well. This is very brave and courageous because it's a thankless job. And so, not that we're doing it serving because we want the thank yous, because at night when you go to sleep, you realize that you've done really good for, for whatever organization that you're serving in. So I just want to at least initially thank you right now for being here. So I'm going to go over just some rules here, or just a statement here. I'll just read this. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to share a brief overview of their background, what they believe they can bring to the table as a potential SRCAR Board of Director, why they want to serve, and what they believe is the most important responsibility of a Board of Director. We ask each candidate to stay within the 3-minute limit, so every candidate receives equal time. So do we have a timer? We do. Okay. So one thing I want to mention too is when you reach the 3-minute mark, are we going to have somebody indicate that? Okay. Just go ahead and just wrap it up. Don't just stop mid-sentence. Go ahead and finish whatever your thought or whatever it is you want to say. So anyway, I think we'll go ahead and, let me see here, get started. I'm going to just pass the microphone down. You've got one? Denise? Can you hear me?
Okay, so hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Denise Wilson. I have been a realtor for almost 20 years. Can you guys hear me? For almost 20 years, I have been involved with SRCAR for probably the last 18 years. I have been a board member for the last 10 years. I've been CFO, I've been president, I've been vice president. I've been involved with Women's Council of Realtors for the last 17 years, where I was president and vice president on the local level. I've done a lot. I've been a CAR director probably for the last 12 years. I've been a NAR director for the last, this is my 4th year as an NAR director. I do this because I love my business. I love what I do. And I don't just get involved. That's 4 minutes. Oh, dang it. Okay. So I'm passionate about it. My heart is in it. I'm not doing it for accolades or for thanks, and definitely not for pay, because this is a non-paid position, just in case if you didn't know it. But my name is Denise Wilson, and I'm honored to be here.
Good morning. My name is Samir Riyad. A happy 250 years. And actually, thank you. And I've been here 47 years in Southern California. I came from Egypt, and I had master's degree in mechanical engineering from Cali State Fullerton and management degree from UCI Irvine. I have a different type of experiences. I work as manufacturing engineer in Southern California for 20 years. And I also did tax preparer for a number of years as side business. That's when I learned about the real estate. So I became real estate investor. I was a property manager. I have property management company for over 20 years. I managed homeowner associations. I was a real estate, I'm a real estate broker for about 20 years. I also was a mortgage broker for over 10 years. So I bring the association long and diverse experience, which would help me and the association. And the reason I'm running, because I wanted to give back to the association and to profession that give me so much. And thank you for being here.
Can we get back to the we're not getting paid part of this? Good morning, all. Vincent Puterbaugh, Century 21 Masters, associate broker there. Been in the association since 1998. Many of you probably know my family if you've been around for a long time. Vicky Puterbaugh was my mother, well, still is my mother, but she's retired now. When I got into the business, she said, "But a last name like Puterbaugh, everyone is going to know that you're related to me, so you better not mess this up for me." Although she didn't use the word mess and she never used that other word. So I knew that she was serious. Started day one that this is a job that is all about reputation, all about respect, all about doing things properly. And not only did I have the family reputation to maintain, I was brought on as a realtor and taught immediately what it meant to be a realtor. And as it says on the homepage of our SRCAR website, we are the face of real estate. And if we're not doing it right, there's no reason the public should be wanting to work with us. So yeah, I'm here because for the last 15 years, I've been on professional standards. I'm presiding justice on many of the panels that we have to hold here. And hopefully you don't know me. That means you haven't been in front of me. But if you truly believe in what it means to be a realtor, then you know that everything that we have is based around ethics and our code of conduct. And if we don't hold ourselves to that standard, we're probably not going to remain relevant in our own industry. So the three things that I bring to the board is protecting our core value proposition, which is extremely important to me. After almost 30 years in our board here, I kind of bridge the gap between the people that, well, we used to show up every week because you had to, that's where you got the new sheets for the listings. And it threw out the ones that closed or put them in the close so that you could use those for your comps. So you had to show up every week if you wanted to remain current. And the third thing is I'm very data driven. So anything, my first year's responsibility will be to shut up and learn. But any decisions that I'm called upon to participate in will be very, very much so data driven by whatever the statistics show are best for the long-term success of our board. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Percival. I'm broker owner of SRCAR Realtors and Associates. My life has been dedicated to service above self. I started my career early on as a police officer, worked in the United States Navy as I'm now a Navy veteran, and I've given back to my community. One of the things that I've done well, let me back up. So I've been a realtor since 2005, joined the Hemet-San Jacinto Association of Realtors, and then had just gotten elected to the board for Hemet-San Jacinto when they merged with Southwest Riverside County. I was appointed to the board of directors in 2014. 2015, I ran for election, and I've been elected 3 times to this board on the board of directors. I've served as president of this association 2 times in 2017 and again in 2024. I currently serve as a CAR director since 2015. And this is my first year as NAR director representing our members here at the Southwest Riverside County Association of Realtors. I have dedicated my life to service, providing and volunteerism to provide for our community in real estate and for the communities in which I've lived in and serving our country. I also served as mayor of the city of Hemet in 2018 and on city council in Hemet from 2016 to 2020. That's definitely an eye-opening experience. And my main drive for running for city council and getting on city council and being involved in government and being elected has always been realtor first, and then governance for the city. And I put our membership at the forefront because whatever government does will affect us as realtors and it affects our clients. And so I wanted to make sure that we as realtors had a voice at a local level, because it's imperative that we continue as realtors to fight the good fight, whether it be in Sacramento or in Washington, D.C., for our clients and for our industry. And being the one person, because I know everybody doesn't like politics, I don't dislike it, and I like being involved. And so getting in, having that involvement and having connections with politicians helps our industry and helps our membership by helping steer them and making good decisions on real estate related issues. So that's been one of my drives. I'm also a presiding officer on professional standards. I've been on professional standards for 10, 15 years now. And so it's very important that we continue to maintain in our industry a high level of professionalism. And so I thank you again, Michael Percival, humbly request your vote.
Good morning, Kirk Effinger. I am associate broker with Century 21 Affiliated. I am running to return to the board of directors. I served on the board of directors for 5 years, beginning in 2022, and would like to get back on the board to continue the work that I had started. A little bit about me. I tell people this all the time because it's the absolute truth. I grew up in this industry. My father was a realtor and a builder, and I spent many of my days off from school working on construction sites and stuff that my dad was doing. After I served in the Air Force, I ended up selling lumber, became a superintendent for a couple of building companies. Got my real estate license in 1982. My license starts with 00. And I was in the mortgage industry for about 25 years. Frankly, I've done a little bit of all of it. I understand this industry very well, and I believe that I can bring the kind of leadership that is needed to move us forward. I am, as Mike has also said, I am very service oriented. I have served on a number of different boards for chambers of commerce, nonprofits. I was chairman of the board of the Palomar Health Foundation, chairman of the board of the Foundation for Senior Wellbeing. I served as a traffic commissioner in my previous city and was ran that commission for 12 years. I am very service oriented and believe that what is needed in our association is a focus on serving our community. I like to remind people that our association, if you go all the way to the national level, we are probably the only trade group that actually advocates not just for our industry, but also for our customers. Our customers' property rights are protected in large part by the efforts that we take to ensure that people's property rights are protected. So I thank you, and I humbly ask for your vote, and that's all I got.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Danelle Winston with Flagship Real Estate. I have been in the business a combined 29 years in real estate. I started out actually, let's go back for a little bit. This will kind of age me. But I used to be a volunteer firefighter and EMT for Station 61 in Wildemar. That's why I first began serving my community. After that, I started the wonderful career of real estate as an escrow officer for 25 years. I've held a realtor license for the last 6 years. I currently serve the association right now is a local government relations. I'm chair of local government relations. I also sit on the grievance board. I'm also part of professional development. I just really love community. I really love people. I am definitely looking forward to joining and serving in a bigger way than I already am, as hopefully sitting on board of directors. I'm all about getting people together. I remember back in 2002, this room used to be filled. all the time. And so one of the things is one of my main goals is getting agents back here, getting people back at the board, getting people back participating, and just having unity here, because we have a really good thing here. And I think it's time for us to get back on our posts.
Okay, thank you very much for that response from all of you. Appreciate it. We're dismissed. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to go through some questions. I'm going to ask you some questions, each of you. Let's, wherever the microphone is at, we'll go ahead and start with that person, Kirk or Mike. And then we're just going to rotate through. Okay, Michael. How would you help support SRCAR's strategic direction and member value proposition as a board of director?
Continuing moving the needle in the right direction. In 2024, when I was president, one of the things that we implemented with the assistance of Kirk as CFO is that we never had an investment policy for the association to protect and be good stewards of association funds. And so we developed a investment policy to get that ball rolling and to get the association moving, because our associations have been growing. And over the years, the association started small, like most associations do. We grew, and we still needed to be able to provide value to our members. And so protecting that membership money is one of the things that we implemented. I want to continue to see that move in the right direction. As far as keeping also is our ability to maintain high level of professional development. We want to be able to provide the courses and the opportunities for agents, old and new, to be able to increase their level of knowledge and their ability to maintain high levels of professionalism. And so I think as we continue to move forward, we continue to focus on those efforts.
Okay, wonderful. If you wouldn't mind passing the phone to the right, we're going to go to the right direction. Oh, we have two microphones. Great. Okay, same question, Vincent. How would you help support SRCAR's strategic direction and member value proposition as a board of director?
The value proposition. Is it on now?
Yeah, it's on
Okay,
now.
thank you. The value proposition is really kind of an interesting question because I don't see the same thing that you do. Over the last 18 months, we're down 10% in membership. We're down to around 4,200-ish. I don't have the exact number, but I know we were closer to the 5,000 mark 18 months ago. That is not a reflection on the board. It's a reflection of the economy and the market. But that also offers different strategic challenges and goals that as a board we're going to have to meet. We have a huge office right next to my office in Hemet, can handle 100 people in the office at any one time, which is about the total number of people that portion of the valley represents. There's right around 100 people in the San Jacinto Hemet area as far as active participating realtors right now. In Menifee, we have a closet that we rent for an office, but that is where our future lies. That is where the growth of our board is, and that's where we need to go ahead and create a footprint now while we can still afford property there. So we need to be taking a look at making an investment while prices are a little flat on the commercial side right now. And that's something that I'm going to suggest that we look at. The board very well may already be well on that process. Not being on the board, I don't have that information, but if not, that's definitely where we need to go. We need to use the data that is there during the low enrollment period that we're in right now. We're mirroring what boards across the country are facing, which means there's also opportunities. Idlewild just folded. The board did a fantastic job in not picking them up. We were approached and the board said, yeah, you really don't bring value. to where we're at, and you don't have any other choice besides Palm Springs. So you're probably going to come to us. So we don't really need to buy you out. I highly applaud the board for not allocating assets to that purchase and still getting all the value out of that decision. But that means that other boards in the area will be in the same situation. If we handle our finances properly, we have the opportunity to grow and disperse our expenses over a much broader base and control costs while increasing our influence. And I think that is something that we really need to focus on.
I appreciate that. I have a question actually, Vince, for you, because a lot of the conversations that we've been having lately has been surrounding the Hemet and Menifee locations. As a associate broker in the Hemet area and understanding that we still need to be able to service that area, if the board so decided to close the Hemet location or get a smaller location and then open a bigger location in Menifee, what do you think as an associate broker of one of the largest offices in Hemet? How do you think the membership in that area would respond, one? And two, losing a space that can hold a capacity of 100, how do you still cater to that group and make them feel like nothing's being taken away, but see the value in a smaller space?
Well, first of all, we really can't pump sunshine up their pant leg and lie to them. You are taking something away from them. You're taking away a meeting space of 100 people, a room roughly this size, and replacing it with probably something 1/3 to 1/4 the size. We still need to be able to hold meetings there. We still need to be able to address the needs of that portion of our board. Do we need to go ahead and allocate that much of our budget and operating overhead to it? Absolutely not. And this is where the difficulty of being on the board lies. You can be your fellow realtors' best friends, or you can take a look at the needs of all of the members and the association. And this may not be a very popular thing amongst the 100 people that I work closest with. And believe me, the convenience of literally being able to walk next door and buy a sign writer cannot be overstated. However, the convenience to a few of us to be able to buy sign writers and renew our dues or whatever we need to do to be able to walk to the meetings and all that can't be outweighed by the needs of the entire board. So I think as realtors, our number one job is to educate our clients. As board members, our number one job is to educate our realtors. When you explain to everybody what the overall benefit is, the only thing you can do is ask them to overlook the personal sacrifice that they are going to have to make in order to be able to promote the well-being and the needs of the entire board. And as a board member, that's what you're asked to do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Samir, how would you help support SRCAR strategic direction and member value proposition as a board of director?
Well, first of all, I would listen to all members of the association and find out their needs and what the concerns that they need from the association. And then I will collaborate with the other board members and the staff and see what's the best way to accomplish that. My main job as manufacturing engineer was to reduce costs of the manufacturing product and also eliminate waste. And that would help us as an association to manage the resources that we have in the association as well. And then I focus on long-term strategic leadership and education. And I like to introduce the human side of real estate, where people need to have connections and trust of their clients. And the new generations, they rely on the internet and stuff like that. But they still need the human connection and how to deal with clients. And there is always continuous improvement. And I believe in that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Denise,
I'd like to comment on the closure.
Please.
Again, I would get information from the board, the members of that community in the Hemet, and see the value that we can add or how we can improve our services so we can get more people in or we can get more value of that facility or that membership in that area.
Okay. Thank you. Denise, how would you help support SRCAR strategic direction and member value proposition as a board of director?
Great question. I think I would start by ensuring that we continue to build our membership and also make sure that our association remains a member-driven focus. And what I mean by that is talking to the members, having town halls to see what actually worked and what's not working, advocating for our business because there's a lot that's going on, and letting our members know what truly is affecting the industry that will affect their paycheck. Professional development is another something that I would instill in our SRCAR, because I do believe that providing the right training, the right education can help our members to succeed in the business that they thrive in. And then also getting involved in our community. Yes, we're here to sell homes, to help buyers and sellers, but we're also here to be a voice in our community. And that stands with advocating for home ownership for our community and also for SRCAR. So for me, what I would definitely start with is letting our members know that they do have a voice here and that we want to hear it. And that's how we're going to build our membership, by letting the members know you do matter and we're here for you. How can we help you? How can we succeed together? And that's what I think I would enlist in being a board member.
And
You got a question for me?
hold on one second. I would like you also, because I know Michael didn't have an opportunity, but to answer the question regarding the Hemet, Denise, the Hemet location. Go ahead, Denise.
I'm sorry. I thought I heard something.
Do you have it? Do you want to repeat it?
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
So I'm like Mike. We were on the board when we did this merger. And the main thing that we all said is we want to make sure they're not a stepchild. We want to make sure that everything that we did here in Marietta, it happens in Hemet. And I know over the course of years, some of the Hemet people feel they are a stepchild. You guys are doing this in Marietta. You're not doing this here. We need to come back together with that. First of all, that needs to be just one. We're SRCAR together. I feel that whatever the member is, have we listened to what the members truly need over there in Hemet? If it is a larger event center so that we can have education, we can have all of that, then it's good to keep it. But if it doesn't make sense, then why do it? Why keep the building when we can invest in something larger in an area and then work together closely as a team? So that's the way I felt about it.
Okay. Thank you. We'll come back. Yes, we've got more. We've got lots.
Oh.
But Danelle, I'll give you an opportunity. How would you help support SRCAR's strategic direction and member value proposition as a board of director?
Like I stated before, I remember a time when this room was full. And I keep harping on that because it is the truth. This place was always packed. People were always here. Why? Because there was some substance. I know COVID happened and everybody kind of retreated to their homes. They retreated behind their computer. Everything's via Zoom, but we need to change that. And we need to bring people back in the room. We need to get people back involved. People need to be seen, heard, and valued. And if you make people feel seen, heard, and valued, they will come. They will participate. They would want to be a part of whatever's going on. It can be the most minor thing, like take real estate off the table. It could be the most minor thing, but if someone is going to feel seen, heard, and valued, they're going to show up. So just like a little side note, I just stepped down. I was president of a networking group out here in the Valley. And when I started my chapter with 2 people. All of a sudden, people start to flock. Why? Because they felt seen, they felt heard, they felt valued. All of a sudden, this networking group had 9 chapters throughout the Valley. All of a sudden, I have people coming from the other 8 chapters attending my networking group. I started to have the CEO show up every Thursday to the networking group. Why? Because people felt seen, heard, and value. I brought education to the table. I personally invested in people to make sure, hey, was there anything that you need? We have done a very good job here at SRCAR, but along the lines, I feel some things have gotten lost, and it's not due to SRCAR. I think just if we look at the climate of just what's taking place in the world. So what I want to bring back is getting people reconnected. One of the strongest things I think for an association is education. I'm a huge person to advocate for education. We had a mastermind meeting here, and one of my biggest things I advocated for was just basic education. Why? Because you know what? You have a lot of new realtors that are coming in every month that is signing up, right? But if they're not having that support, especially in their own broker's office, they're going to need a place. But you know what? We pay real estate dues, right? So if we're paying dues every month to an association, there should be value there. And so I'm really happy that they actually listened and they started amazing new classes. And what our first class that we just had, we had 60 people show up. And I believe that was for the CR MLS, right? We had 60 people show up. And if you guys have been here for a length of time, we don't see those numbers that often. So when you put things out there for value, and again, you make people seen, and heard and valued, it's going to bring the people. And so that's going to be one of the biggest things for me, sitting as a board of director, is really reaching out to the members, finding out what their needs are, letting them know that their voice is valued, because it is important. And once we can find out what those needs are, people are going to fill this place. We're going to grow as an association. A lot of these places, a lot of these associations are caving and falling because there's absolutely no value. We don't want our name to be one of those people on the list. We need to get out there, we need to engage with the people, and we need to bring them in the room so we can be a stronger association.
Danelle, also one follow-up question regarding the Hemet building and how we utilize that or consider maybe a move to Menifee. Your thoughts?
I was a rep out in that area for some time. Hemet, it is a wonderful town, a wonderful community, and there's a lot of real estate companies out in Hemet. But again, I see the same thing in Hemet. Everybody's dormant. Everybody's in their own office. No one comes out. There's nothing that's bridging people to come together. Again, just like I was saying here, we have to think outside of the box. And that's one thing that I did in that networking group. I broke protocol, right? They had a certain system working for 20 years, but that system was old and it was stale. Sometimes you have to break protocol and get innovative. So what I did in that networking group, I got innovative and I changed the system. When I changed the system, people came. And like I said, the CEO started showing up every week to my networking groups. Then he said he was a member of my group. So that was quite a compliment. But I think we have to truly step outside of the box of doing what we have been doing for many, many years. Those old ways do not work anymore. That's why the rooms are empty. We have a beautiful facility. If you have not been to the Hemet office, we have an absolutely beautiful facility in Hemet. There's no reason why that facility should be dormant. I think we have to do a better job of getting out there within the community, engaging with the brokers, engaging with the agents, and finding something of value to pull people back in the room.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Kirk, how would you help support SRCAR's strategic direction and member value proposition as a board of director?
Well, there's several things. Starting off with, one thing that I don't see enough of is engagement with the brokers and office managers in our association. I don't think that they're being approached in the right way or being asked for their opinion. And at the end of the day, where the broker goes is where our members go. So I would really like to see us take a more robust approach at engaging the brokers, the owners, and the office managers, so that we can hear what their needs are. What is it we need to do to engage them more and serve them and their agents? That's number one. Number two, it's anybody who's worked with me on the board in the past knows I am very passionate about fiscal management and being responsible for our assets and being responsible for our members' money. And I want to continue that and also make people aware that we're doing it, because I don't think enough people understand the efforts that are made to protect what at the end of the day is your money. And another thing is I'm also very passionate about the Realtor Action Fund and the efforts that our association and our state and national associations take towards ensuring that our voice is heard as an industry. And I really want to do a better job of educating our members with the importance of contributing to the Realtor Action Fund and being a part of the voice of our industry. We're underperforming in that area as a board. We've done better, but we shouldn't be happy with 25% participation for $50 a year. We should be able to do much better than that. And if it takes doing a road show to the different brokerage offices to talk about why it's important, I think it's something that we need to do. As I've mentioned before, we advocate for our industry. I mean, one of the reasons we're all independent contractors is in part because of Realtor Action Fund and our voice. It's also why people still have property rights, because prior to the creation of real estate, organized real estate, property rights were subject to the whims of government. So I would like to do a much better job of educating our realtor community on the importance of the Realtor Action Fund and political involvement.
Thank you, Kirk. And then if you could touch on the Hemet location as well.
Well, as someone who was on the finance committee and still am on the finance committee, I have been an advocate for reevaluating our ownership of that particular location. Not so much for the location, although that's part of it, but also because, frankly, the building is costing us a lot of money to maintain. One of the things that we did when I became treasurer is we established in our budget what I just lost. Yeah, a maintenance reserve. Something we'd never had before. We were always paying for fixing the roof and fixing this and fixing that out of our basically out of our general fund. And what we have done now is we set up a reserve fund for both this location and the Hemet location, so that we can hopefully have the money set aside when repairs are needed. But the reality is that particular building it's cost us quite a bit of money over the last couple of years. And I think there's a potential for us to find a better location that would be more affordable, that would also serve not only Hemet, but also Menifee. Or maybe we do get a smaller location. I mean, when you compare, okay, we have a larger room here, but we also have over 4,000 members, okay? So the difference between this room and the room in Hemet isn't all that different, yet in the Hemet location doesn't have as many agents. So I think we could have a smaller meeting space and still accomplish what needs to be accomplished in Hemet. So I mean, that's basically it.
Okay, thank you, Kirk. And then, Michael, I want to give you an opportunity to touch on the Hemet location as well.
Well, thanks. Okay, my take on the Hemet location. The several things that play into that, right? So the Hemet location was derived out of the merger with the Hemet San Jacinto Association of Realtors. That was part of the merger agreement that we have a presence. One of the big problems that I've seen over the years with that location and the fact that it's been underutilized is that we went from a small association here in Marietta, and it has grown, and the location in Hemet became an afterthought, right? So everything was run out of this office, and so it was a challenge for staff to think about the Hemet location in the very beginning, and then it just kind of went by the wayside a lot. One of the things, and Denise touched on this, one of the things that we pushed over the last several years was getting the cameras set up so that we afforded the agents in Hemet the same opportunity. Now, what do we do in real estate? As real estate agents, we represent our clients to do what? Purchase real property, whether it be residential or commercial. I think that when our association can do what we advocate for our clients to do and invest in real property, it's a win. Anytime somebody owns real property, there's money that's got to be put into it for ongoing maintenance. And we have put in money into Hemet. We've put in money into this building. Do I think that there's an opportunity for us as an association to grow? Absolutely. Do I think we need a better location in Menifee? Absolutely. We need to be able to provide for our members where they are. And with losing Idlewild Association, most of their members were already members of California Desert Association. So they went automatically to California Desert. So we didn't really pick up any. We had some secondary members there that were members here. But we've got Menifee is a growing population. I think there's opportunity there. One of the nice things that we looked for when Connie retired, right, her main focus was this location. And so when she retired, we looked at the expansion of our association to be able to provide more for our spread out members. And so we had talked about, we had a location in Lake Elsinore. It didn't work out. We closed that location. We have a location in Menifee. I think that, again, that opportunity that we have in Menifee to expand, to find a location that we can then invest our money, member money, into a location that can better serve our members. The Hemet location is an opportunity. It's an investment that we've made. We put our money that was earning very low rates in the bank. We invested it in real estate. There's a higher rate of return. Obviously, there's always a higher rate of return when we invest in real estate. That's what we heard. That's what we do. We're realtors. We invest in real estate. So I think there's opportunity if the membership says, hey, we need a shift from this location, move it further west, go to Menifee, then I'm all for it. Let's look at that. But again, the Hemet location, it's a paid off building. There are recurring maintenance costs involved in it, but that's with any real estate anybody owns.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move on to our next question. And then for the sake of time, I'm going to ask you to try to keep it under 2 minutes if possible. Vincent, we'll have you go first. Please identify 2 member issues you believe SRCAR should stay focused on. Then for each issue, share 1 constructive solution you would recommend SRCARs consider.
All righty. Well, many of the members up here on the panel come from professional standards. So I think I can safely say you're going to hear a lot of these answers are going to be very, very similar. It's kind of like going back to your high school ASB elections. We're all going to go ahead and say that if you vote for us, we'll outlaw homework and double your recess. But the truth of the matter is that we need to remember who and what we really are. And we need to be able to create that value. And I'm talking again about ethics and education here. And that's really the focus of what the board has been for years and needs to, in my opinion, needs to continue to remain is on ethics, education, and enforcement. One of the things that the board is already doing is they have the little video that you can click on every week and give you the market update, how many new listings, how many sold, that's fine, but that's not real valuable information that most realtors can use every day because it's so generic. But we can create 1-minute live videos that talk about how our ethics and our code of conduct is actually expected to be used in our daily operations and the way that we interact with each other. So we can create value. I'm going to go back to and tie into what somebody else up here was saying here. Yes, I do think it's important that we engage with each other and that we try to get people connected. I also think that it's important, though, that we realize that the younger generation coming up behind us wants their information in a different format than what we're used to getting. They're going to college classes online and what have you, and we need to provide more digital content to them and information in a format that they'll go ahead and actually digest and use.
Okay, thank you very much. That was almost spot on 2 minutes. Samir, same question. Please identify 2 member issues you believe SRCAR should stay focused on. Then for each issue, share 1 constructive solution you would recommend SRCAR to consider.
The 2 things that I think that the SRCAR can concentrate on, the professional education. And I would like to add to the professional education.
Just closer.
Okay. Can you hear me now better?
Yes.
Okay. I'll start over. All right. So professional education, there is no shortage at the SRCAR of contracts and how to protect yourself and how to deal with client disclosures and all of that, which is great. But a lot of the new generations, they know about on the online and the Facebook, and however, the real estate is more connections to your clients. So I'd like the SRCAR to add more courses to the new generations of realtors, how to do connections and to their clients, how to gain trust, and communication and negotiation skills. These are all interested and important. And I'll give a very fine example. Earlier this year, I had a client gave me 3 properties. I sold 2 of them. And the third one, I asked him and I advised him to go to his tax advisor and see if it is advantageous for him to sell it this year or wait for next year. So our members need to understand a broad understanding of different issues when they're selling the property. If they don't understand the other issues, why their needs, the client needs and all of that, I'd like the association to expand on that. The second issue is property rights. I like to add property protection. Property protection, I'll make it fast. Property protection, I'm talking about talking about the fraud. So I'd like the association to take that as a subject to minimize or eliminate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Samir. Denise. Please identify 2 member issues you believe SRCAR should stay focused on. Then for each issue, share 1 constructive solution you would recommend SRCAR consider.
So my 2, the first one would be advocacy, and then the second would be empowering our members through education. So with advocacy, I truly believe that we're doing good with our GAD, our Governor Affairs Director, but we need to get out in our community and make friendships with our legislative people, because when laws are made or voted on, it impact our industry. So we need to have that relationship where we can sit down with our assembly, with our senator, with our legislator and say, hey, this is how this will impact our business if you vote this way. And that's a good thing about having a relationship, because we have events here that we're able to go and lobby and speak to them and let them know how we feel. We also go to Sacramento where we sit in their office and we let them know, if you vote or support this, this is how this is going to negatively affect our buyers and our sellers and our industry. So I think it not only starts in Sacramento, it starts right here at SRCAR by having the relationships that we do. And that's why I love the committee that we have, because we all are covering Lake Elsinore, Menifee, Marietta, Temecula, and we're going to the city council meetings and we're reporting back what's going on. So we are engaging, and I think we need to continue to do that. The other thing is empowering our members. We had the Ready, Set, Realtor is what Danelle was mentioning, and we did have about 60 people there. That is the first of many classes. So the longest, what we need to do is continue to put back, because we should be the one-stop source for our members. They're paying their membership dues here. Why should they go somewhere else to get any type of technology, learning, education? We want to be that source. So when we have the new members come in here, we need to make sure, I'm sorry, this is to wrap it up and I just got it. So we just need to make sure we're doing good by our members, educating them. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Danelle, same question. First, please identify 2 member issues you believe SRCAR should stay focused on. Then for each issue, share 1 constructive solution you would recommend SRCAR consider.
First will be education, and second would be member retention. So I'll start off with member retention. Again, getting out there and getting people involved and getting people back in a room. And you're going to keep hearing me say this, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's what needs to happen. Because if we keep people engaged, you're going to keep retention. They're not going to go somewhere else where they're feeling that they're getting more value from another association. One thing that I see all over this valley, and I know we all see it because this whole Temecula Valley, Marietta Valley, this is the valley of mixers, right? There is always some type of mixer going on, and those places are packed. Anytime you have anything going on in Wildemar, Marietta has them, Lake Elsinore has them. I attend one in Lake Elsinore once a month. They have over 80 people that show up in the room. So that tells me, you know what? People don't mind getting out of their house and showing up when they see value, right? And so one of the things I would like to implement is, why can't we start our own little mixers for SRCAR? Why can't we not have little pop-ups and have people come out and gather? And in those pop-ups, you have people, realtors, you're connected with one another. You know, there's so many times that I'll sit down with someone who's a fellow realtor, and they always have something in part in me, and I always have something in part in them. Right? Everybody has a niche. Everybody knows something a little bit different than the other person. And when you bring people together and they can collaborate, then we all grow and we're all stronger together. The next thing, again, is educate. Oh.
No, you're.
He's like, she's done.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought, please.
The other thing is education. Again, if you're educating people, people are going to show up, right? It is very important, the type of education. We've had some amazing classes here. Again, I do believe that we do need to start thinking out of the box and breaking protocol again. There's other different things. You know what? The industry is ever changing, and we need to stay on that path as things change, right? And so sometimes I've kind of noticed in the past that we've had kind of like the same classes over and over again, and people get kind of tired of that same information. We need to be on the cusp of when things drop. We just had a code enforcement class here. Not so much of a class, but a seminar. But we had so many people show up to that. It was so nice to see this room almost full. Why? Because it was a topic of interest and a topic that was really needed, right? As realtors, we're tired of getting our signs, ripped off, taken, when we have open house. So again, value, it's important. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'm out of time.
Kirk, first, please identify 2 member issues you believe SRCAR should stay focused on. Then for each issue, share 1 constructive solution you would recommend SRCAR consider.
Yeah.
Looking there.
Well, I mean, one of the common themes that you're hearing up here is education and providing member value in education. I have been on the board of directors of chambers of commerce in the past. And one of the things that I had noticed back then in the one particular chamber of commerce, there were 10,000 businesses in the city and there were only 500 members of the chamber of commerce. That's because they have a hard time projecting value. We as an industry have kind of been complacent because for many years you had to belong to a real estate association. And you had to belong to a specific real estate association physically. That is no longer the case. We need to provide member value. We also have to be cognizant that brokers and managers don't necessarily want their people coming to get educated differently from what their company projects. So we have to be mindful of that in the offerings that we make. But education is a very important part of it, and definitely offering opportunity to do it digitally as well as in person, I think is very important. I have a thing about our marketing sessions that just drives me up a wall, and everybody knows it. That's how I ended up getting involved in the first place, because our marketing sessions, they were bad before the pandemic. So you can't blame it on the pandemic. And we need to do a better job of projecting value in our marketing meetings, because our marketing meetings are, I'm on a roll now. But we need to show value in our marketing meetings. If we do that, people will show up.
Thank you very much. Okay, Michael, same question. First, please identify 2 member issues you believe the SRCAR should stay focused on. Then for each issue, share 1 constructive solution you would recommend SRCAR consider.
Number 1, advocacy. Number 2, professional development. I'll touch on advocacy. I serve on the local government relations policy committee for the California Association of Realtors. And when I sit in these meetings, when we go to CAR, we hear from associations all up and down the state. And the biggest complaint is they're constantly fighting with local legislators, city councils, on this legislation that negatively impacts our industry and our clients. So with our advocacy, we got to remember, SRCAR is what? It's a trade organization. And what do we do as a trade organization? As members, we become a collective voice for our industry. And when you've got more people that are collectively speaking on the same thing, it's powerful. And so while Kirk said, yeah, there's changes in membership rules that people don't need to become a member. The importance of it is that if you want to be able to go out and sell homes and represent your clients, but you don't want to get involved politically, use your money. Put your money toward the advocacy effort so that you can continue to work the industry and provide for your clients. That's number 1. Professional development. The importance of it is that if we continue to raise the standard for our members, then we all collectively become better in our industry. We provide better for our clients. We provide better for the industry. And where that's important is it goes back to the advocacy. How does that tie into advocacy? Because legislators create law because somebody does something that shouldn't have been done in the first place. So if we raise the bar for our members and our realtors are doing the right thing for our clients and for our industry, then legislators aren't going to be passing laws that then negatively impact our industry and our clients.
Okay, thank you very much. I know at some point I'm going to be cut off on time too. So I want to try to get through the questions. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to answer the next series of questions, and we'll see how far we can get. Samir, we'll start with you. Leadership often requires balancing many different perspectives. How would you approach making decisions that may not be popular but are in the best interest of the association?
Mainly, would like to take a vote from everybody and make communication with our different members, and we develop consensus. And if you develop consensus, then that's something that would be good for everyone. And this communication and basically communicate with other members.
Okay. Thank you very much. Denise. I'm timing everybody. Yeah. And I was just told this will be the last question for me. So you got 1 minute. Leadership often requires balancing many different perspectives. How would you approach making decisions that may not be popular, but are in the best interest of the association?
That's a very good question because I'm on several boards, and oftentimes you have an issue that you have to discuss and you have to vote on. But at the end of the day, if you put what's best for that organization and not your personal interest, I think you're always going to come out on top. Whether someone in the group agrees with you or disagree with you, is if you do your homework first, do your research. Don't just come out there flying off with the wrong stuff, but do your homework, do your research, and stand on what you believe. Whether someone else likes it or not, at the end of the day, if you're making the right decision for that organization, you've done your job.
Okay, thank you very much. Danelle, you're up next. Often requires balancing many different perspectives. How would you approach making decisions that may not be popular, but are in the best interest of the association?
I've been in this situation quite a few times because I'm just very active within the community. And one thing that I've learned as I'm out there being a part of different organizations is that when you walk into a boardroom, you have to check your pride at the door. That's the biggest problem, is when everyone's coming in with pride and ego. And even though what someone is saying might be true, out of pride and ego, they're still going to push back on it. So I think as long as people are coming in, checking their pride and ego, and really coming in the room to truly work for the betterment of the association, you should have a smooth sailing ship.
Thank you very much. Kirk, same question. Leadership often requires balancing many different perspectives. How would you approach making decisions that may not be popular, but are in the best interest of the association?
Well, it's not. You start with being informed when you walk into the room, and having an understanding of what the discussion is about. Be passionate about your position, but at the end of the day, the board of directors is a collective group, and no one person's opinion should be dominant. It should be heard. Leadership sometimes involves knowing when to hold them and other times when to fold them.
Thank you very much. Michael, you're next. You want me to repeat the question?
No.
Okay.
So everybody that knows me on the board of directors knows that I listen first and then come to a conclusion. All the votes that I've ever made on the board of directors has always put the focus of the members first. How is this going to affect the members on a vote? And so I continue to do that. And at the end of the day, though, at the end of the meeting, whatever the vote comes out to that's the vote. And we walk out of the room with a collective voice. And that's what's important. So everybody should be heard in the boardroom. But again, anytime there's a discussion, my focus is on how is this going to affect the membership? And then whatever the vote is at the end of the meeting that's how the vote was. And we walk out as one voice.
Okay. Thank you very much. Vincent, same question. You want me to repeat it or? Sounds good. Leadership often requires balancing many different perspectives. How would you approach making decisions that may not be popular, but are in the best interest of the association?
Oh, sure. All the good answers are already taken. Yeah, just ditto, 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 ditto. No, what Samir said, consensus building, extremely important. And you touched on that as well. When you walk out of the meeting with a decision, there is one voice, and that needs to be the only voice heard. When you walk into the meeting, though, you need to have an open mind. Don't be so ego-based that you already have what was it, little Abner that played, what's good for General Boomers is good for the USA. No, change my mind. I have an opinion and I'm going to listen to everybody else in the room. Honestly, if you're the chairman of a particular committee, I'm going to be listening a lot harder to you than somebody who has no experience in whatever the field that we're talking about is. So yeah, I do. I rely on the experts, the people that have the experience in that particular field. Those are the people whose voice should be the loudest or heard strongest. As far as a smooth sailing ship, that just means that you have no opposing opinions in the room. What needs to happen is when the discussion, the arguments, sometimes just the knockdown, drag out fights behind closed doors, especially if you're really, really adamant about a position after you've heard everybody else's position and you still feel that what you felt is not the popular decision, but the right one. You owe it to the board to go ahead and continue to voice your decision until you're outvoted, and then you just shut up and smile.
Thank you. And thank all of you again for bearing with me and those questions. I'd like to bring up our CEO, LaShawn Scales.
So you all have done an amazing job thus far. The questions that Norm had for you all were just generally about your leadership style, what you think of the association. My questions are directed towards AE board relationship. What does it mean for you working directly with the CEO to make sure that we're fulfilling the strategic plan and that our association is moving forward? So my first question is for Samir. How would you build trust with the CEO while still fulfilling your responsibility to ask tough questions and hold the organization accountable?
You reminded me when I used to work as manufacturing engineer and I had to follow the direction of the president of the company and also people on production floor where I don't manage them, but I have to please everyone. I just learn what actually is being said and what is needed, the policy of the association, and then I'll come back and say my voice and give constructive solutions or issues that the association or the president or the CEO is asking. So I would try to bridge the gap, and there is no company or association that's perfect. There is always room for improvement. So I would like to work on that as well.
Thank you, Samir. Next question. Let's go with Kirk. Kirk, the board has approved a strategic initiative, but implementation is taking longer than expected. How would you support the CEO while maintaining accountability?
Well, I'll use one of my favorite quotes that I use often. George Bernard Shaw said that some people see things as they are and say, why? I see things as they could be and say, why not? So I would look to see if there is a better way of doing something than we are currently doing. I think it's important that, first off, our job as a board is not to run the association. Our job is to set policy. That being said, if I see that there is something that could be done better in taking a different approach, I am going to suggest that maybe we take a look at that approach.
Thank you, Kurt. Next question is for Denise. Denise, you strongly disagree with the board decision that has already been approved. How would you move forward, both publicly and within the boardroom?
That's a really good question. First of all, I can look at you or I can look over here. I want to look at you. So first thing, I think at the end of the day, when we're in our meeting, we're all professional. Whatever discussion we have there, whatever decision comes out of there, we need to respect that. And when we leave the boardroom, that discussion stays there. So did I answer your question? Nope. Ask the question again.
You did okay.
No,
You did okay.
I want to do better.
So go with that.
No.
Your time is up. Please pass the mic. Thank you.
Tough room to play today.
My next question is for Ms. Danelle. Danelle, a member asks you to intervene in a staff issue because they know you are a board member. How would you respond?
Can you repeat that question again?
Yes, ma'am. A member asks you to intervene in a staff issue because they know you are a board member. How would you respond?
I would listen to the complaint, if that is a complaint, but I mean, that's not my job to handle the staff. So then that would go directly to the CEO and let the CEO know what is being said. And that's as far as it goes, because as a, as a member, I mean, even if I'm a board member, that's not my job to control the staff or to tell the staff to do something. That is the job of the CEO.
Thank you. Thank you. Next question is for Mike. Mike, what do you believe is the single most important responsibility of a board member in supporting the CEO while maintaining appropriate oversight?
Well, I feel gypped. I didn't get to answer any of those other questions. The board is governance. The CEO is operations. And so as far as the oversight and they tie into a lot of these other questions, right, is that provide that oversight to the CEO and provide that direction as one voice of the whole board. Each board member doesn't have a single voice to dictate what the CEO gets to do. It's what comes out of the board as a whole. And so that's what's important, to make sure that if there's a discussion on the board, that it's not splintered discussions that then try to give direction to the CEO.
Got it. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Yes, his answer was good, Denise. Last question is for Vince. How do you distinguish between governance and management, and why is that distinction important?
Well, first of all, it's extremely important, but it's the only way that you stay in your own lane. The CEO is the rudder of the ship. She has the consistency, she has the history, she has the knowledge of what's gone on in the past that has created the foundation and is advising the board of where we are and where we came from. The board is the sail of the ship. We're providing the impetus, we're going ahead and moving things forward, but the two of them are actually necessary in their own way, and they have to stay in their own lane. Otherwise, the ship without a sail and a ship without a rudder, I mean, we're going nowhere fast. So I think it's really important that the board members understand their role and stay in their lane, and at the same time, allow the CEO to perform her job while holding her accountable.
Great answer, Vince. Okay, so just so you guys, those are all my questions. Thank you guys so much. The purpose of these questions were because I'm a believer in meeting people where they are. And as you're working with different leaderships and you're understanding people's leadership styles, you need to know how to communicate with those leaders. So as you all move forward in the voting process and things of that nature, it was important for me to get these responses from you. So whomever's elected, I know how we work together. So thank you guys again. To discuss further of the election process, I'm going to bring up Rebecca, and she will go over our voting procedures. Yes, if you want more information on the candidates, each one does have a flyer in the back, so please do grab those on your way out.
Okay, so I'm going to go over the exciting part. So thank to each one of our candidates for coming out and sharing your experiences, perspectives, and commitment to serving our association. As far as the election process, you will all receive an email at 11 a.m. As far as casting your vote, you have up to 4 candidates to make your election for. If you decide to just go with one, it's one, but you can go back and edit your vote. It's very important that you all know that SRCAR cannot provide any recommendations or preferences regarding any candidate. Our responsibility is to administer the election and make sure every single one of our members has an opportunity to cast their vote. Voting will remain open until Friday, August 7th by 4:30 p.m. So if any of you have any issues regarding, or you guys didn't receive the election ballot, just make sure to call our offices and we'll get that resolved. Yes. (11 a.m.) 30 minutes. So when you submit, also when you submit your election ballot, it will request for you to input your MLS ID and your SRCAR member portal password. That doesn't always necessarily mean that that's your MLS password. So if you just want to double check, you could always stop by in the front and we'll confirm the password that you have. Because if not, it will not cast your vote.